Fantasizers! Welcome back for this episode of Fanta-Sci. I have a special surprise for you guys. So on the count of 3, we are going to go ahead and see our surprise. Ready? 1, 2, 3!
What up, Fantasizers? It's Fanta-Sci Bella from the Fanta-Sci family.
So today we decided that we are going to have a discussion about The Book Thief by Mark Zusak. Bella just recently saw the movie with me. She makes fun of me because I cry a lot in some of these movies, and I told her, this is one of those movies that I cry, and then she made fun of me. But she actually loved it, and she learned a lot. So, to begin, we have our main character,
Liesel, and she is like a little girl.
Liesel is about 10 years old, and she was born around the time of World War II. And she has to go stay with a foster family with her brother because her mom can no longer take care of them due to, things that are happening with the Nazis and the war situation. So they're on their way to their foster family.
She has a little baby brother. And he's like 2 or 4. And on the way to their foster family on the train, he dies.
He passes away on the train. They have to bury him on the way to the foster family's house. And that's when Liesel picks up her first book. Well, she steals her first book because the person that's burying her brother drops his book in the snow, and Liesel picks it up. She doesn't know how to read, but she becomes very intrigued with the idea of books and reading at that time.
And then she finally saw her foster family, and her foster mom was like stressed that she didn't see 2, she only saw 1. And they explained how it happened, but she was like still stressed.
Right, so she wasn't very nice in the beginning, but her foster dad, who she called Papa, his name was Hans, but she called him Papa. And he was really nice. So she felt a little bit more comfortable when she got to her foster home because of him. As the beginning of the movie progresses, Bella was able to learn a little bit about World War II and Hitler and the Nazis and what was going on at that time. She had never seen anything like this before. She had to ask me if this was a real thing, and I had to explain to her that yes, Hitler was a real person, and he really did all of this terrible stuff to these people at this time. So through the beginning of the movie, you're learning a little bit about Hitler and what was going on. So we learn a little bit about Hitler and about the Nazis, and then a Jew shows up at their doorstep.
And he asked Hans, Liesel's papa, if they can hide in her basement. And they say yes, because they're really nice.
Right, and it turns out that Max's father fought with Hans in World War I and actually saved his life. So Hans felt obligated to hide Max in his basement and save his life in return. Well, meanwhile, one of the underlying themes throughout the movie is that Liesel loves books and wants to learn how to read. She has begun to learn how to read with her papa, but when Max shows up and is in the basement and doesn't really have anything to do because he's hiding, Liesel and him become friends, and Max starts teaching her how to read, and they begin a little library of sorts in the basement, and they start writing words on the wall that Liesel wants to learn and remember. And they strike a very intimate friendship with each other because Max is teaching Liesel how to read. Liesel has to keep it a secret that Max is in her basement. She's not allowed to tell anybody, so she has to keep it a super secret from everybody else at school, from all the teachers. Otherwise, her family's going to get in really big trouble. Max ends up getting sick.
And they give him soup, but it didn't turn out well.
No. He ends up getting really sick and he gets a fever and they think he's going to die. And everybody's freaking out. Meanwhile, Liesel is forced to go to a book burning ceremony with everybody in the town. And as we know, Liesel loves books, so she's horrified.
She finds this unburned book.
But it's like smoking and stuff, like it's about to burn.
Yeah.
But she steals the book from the pile and she's going to get in big, big trouble if anybody finds this out.
And a girl that was, it was like grown up, she was really, really nice. In the middle of the story, she invites her to her home. She has like a big mansion, and she has a library downstairs, like on the middle. So like every day she would come here and borrow a book to study with Max.
She's the governor's wife, and the governor finds out that she's bringing her in to the library, and he puts a stop to all of that. So then Liesel isn't able to go in there anymore, but the wife leaves the window open every day and knows that Liesel is sneaking in to steal the books, but she doesn't do anything about it. She just lets her do it.
And also, her husband is not really happy about when he finds out that people are coming in. He didn't find out, but he just, he almost found out.
Right. It was a close call. Meanwhile, the Nazi army comes in, and they're looking for basements that are safe, because just in case there's an air raid and everybody has to hide, they need to know which basements are good for hiding. So they come to the house, and they're going in the basement, and Max is down there, and everybody's freaking out, and they don't find him because Max is hiding. Thank goodness.
He's hiding under a big flag thing?
Yeah, it was a Nazi flag. They covered him with a Nazi flag. They start having air raids. They start having to hide in somebody's basement in the neighborhood.
Hans used to play the
accordion
in there, so everybody can feel safe. But then he goes to the army because he was trying to save a Jewish person because he's really nice, and he got sent to the war
as a punishment for trying to help a Jew in the streets. So then he's not there anymore to play the accordion for everybody in the basement, so Liesel takes it upon herself to start reciting stories for everybody, stories that she's memorized. Papa comes back, he gets injured, and they send him home. Things are getting very tense. Max has to leave because he feels like he's a danger to them, and he doesn't want to get them in trouble, so he ends up leaving on his own accord, and Liesel's very sad about it because now she doesn't have her reading buddy anymore. Max had actually started to teach her how to write stories.
Yeah.
He took a copy of Mein Kampf, which I have, actually, if you guys can see right here. Mein Kampf, which is Adolf Hitler's biography, or I don't know, I guess it's like his belief system during World War II. He takes a copy of it, and he paints all the pages white to make a blank diary for Liesel to write in so that he can teach her how to write stories. Max leaves, and
7 or 6 years later, Liesel was working at a coffee shop, or she was a writer or something, and Max comes in, and he was 48 now, and they went and give a big hug.
Big hug, because they hadn't seen each other, and she didn't even know if Max was alive. She thought maybe he died or something happened to him, and he came back for her, and it was super awesome. But I don't know if we should tell everybody the ending of the movie, even though it's super emotional and it makes me cry really, really bad, and Bella was making fun of me for being a big crybaby.
No.
Yeah.
You're almost crying right now.
I'm almost crying right now just thinking about it.
Her eyes are red and they're really watery.
So we're not going to spoil the end of the movie for you, but just know that when you watch this movie, you're going to definitely need tissues.
And
I cried during the book too, because I frequently cry during books because I'm a big nerd. Overall, I love The Book Thief, the book. I also thought the movie was a fantastic adaptation. Bella really enjoyed the movie, and I didn't know if she was, because she didn't really know a lot about World War II and Hitler and all that stuff before the movie, but she was very interested. She asked a lot of questions. She learned a lot, and now she knows about the evil of Hitler and the Nazis and everything that happened during that time. Honestly, now I kind of want to read it again, now that we've been talking about it.
I want to like the story again, and once when I'm 10 or 11, I want to borrow that book because I love it.
So that is our recap on The Book Thief. I hope you guys pick it up and read it and enjoy it as much as we did. Please
subscribe to their channel, turn on the post notifications, and leave a like.
Well, thank you, Bella, for promoting my channel. I truly appreciate all of you being fans of Fanta-Sci, and I hope to see you next week for the next episode. Bye, everybody!
Bye!